Hello and welcome to today's video. Today we are here for another episode of the Racing Debrief. I don't know why I did that. Uh, we're here. It's another week. Racing Debrief. Let's get into it. Texas Motor Speedway was the location of the racing this week. And that's the end of the video. No. Texas Motor Speedway normally, kind of mid. This week, kind of mid. To be honest, nothing really changed in my opinion. Truck race Friday night. I'm so uninterested in the truck race. Like, for me, it's not even really worth diving into, to be fair. Like, I just feel like it's not worth spending time on and energy on in these videos. Like, 100%. Again, I feel like for me, I may just touch on like who wins it, little thought on it here or there, but I'm not gonna like give a deep dive into them. I just feel like it's not something that I'm super engaged in enough to dive into. I just want to acknowledge that I've been feeling the last few weeks, so we're gonna just not. Kyle Busch did win it. Had a little bit of competition, but another Kyle Busch win in the truck series. That's not the reason I don't feel like discussing it. I just feel like trucks, it doesn't do anything for me at the moment. So there's that, which is kind of interesting because if you watch a lot of our gaming content, whether that's NASCAR Heat 5 or NASCAR 2005, both of those were heavily focused on the truck series at the moment. So it's kind of weird, but I don't know. Truck series is not doing it for me, so I'm just gonna acknowledge that. So we'll skip forward to the Xfinity series then, and a lot of that race was just an Allgaier dominating at Texas. And there's a part where you feel bad for him. He's dominated Texas the last few years. I mean, he's got so many laps led, so many stages won, and he can't get that race win. For whatever reason, it's always seems something just happened to him. I don't know, I don't understand it. I mean, he's really, really good at Xfinity racing, but for some reason, that one track, he's had that issue. It came so close. I mean, every single time the Xfinity Series races at Texas, it seems like he's the dominant driver. And he always comes up short. I don't know why. Had a few bad restarts towards the end, got shuffled back, but yeah, it didn't work out for him. Of course, the finish is the thing to talk about. Ryan Siegel, he finally had an Xfinity win coming his way, but right towards the end, Sam Mayer caught him, and brilliant finish. Was a 0.002 seconds. So unfortunate that Sam Mayer was the one to get the win. I made a post on the X about it, tweet, whatever the hell, comment about it, and I was just like, damn, crazy finish. Wish it was the opposite result, and a lot of people really seemed like they wanted Ryan Sieg to win it over Sam Mayer. I mean, I'm not a big Sam Mayer fan. He's definitely one of the drivers that's lower on my list of drivers I like. Don't know if we can tell why. But Sam Mayer's not a driver I'm really a big fan of. So, with him winning makes it kind of unfortunate that if any driver, is going to be the one to get that closer win. It's very unfortunate that it is Sam Mayer. But, yeah, it was just looking like Ryan Sieg had that one. I mean, those last 20 laps, he was there. I mean, he pulled away in a few of those restarts. He made some brilliant passes, but just seemed like he had a little bit of an issue in the last few laps, and it's just so unfortunate to see a driver that's been racing that long come up that short. I mean, I think it'd be cool to see Ryan Sieg get a win. I mean, he's been one of those guys that's been really contending in the playoffs, like for that playoff spot, top 12. So it'd be cool to see him get a win. I mean, he's got a small team, a family team, so seeing those types of teams win is something you definitely see more in Xfinity or Truck Series, and when you get those opportunities to see those organizations, pull up and do something. I mean, beating a Junior Motorsports and Gibbs cars, and those are the top two in Xfinity, to be able to go up and win against one of those teams would be brilliant. And I feel like Ryan Sieg is gonna get a win if he's getting close like that. If they can bring cars like that for him, he'll be in a good spot, to get some wins. I mean, I feel like the last few years he's gotten a little bit closer anyways, so I think that you could see Ryan Sieg get a win this year. I don't think that's wild to say in that series, but again, it's just unfortunate to see him get that close. That's gotta really hurt as a driver. I mean, getting second always hurts in anything competitive, right? If you're in a competitive aspect, to come up second is worse than coming in 10th or whatever. Second hurts the most. So I'm sure in racing in that competitive of an aspect, though, to come second by .002 hurts a little bit more than if you came second by 5 seconds on the track, right? It's got to be that much worse, especially going a lap leading, right? That's tough. Take the white flag as a leader. Yeah, you feel bad for Ryan Sieg, and you feel bad for everyone that had to watch it and see Sam Mayer win. Speaking of races where we had to see a driver that you didn't want to see win, let's talk about the Cup race. So, Cup race, first stage, I mean, Kyle Larson pretty much dominated it. I think there might have been one caution in it, but he pretty much had that on lock. Killed the first stage from pole. And then we got what we've seen a lot more of at Texas, right? The last few years, I mean, they showed the graphic on the screen, which, going by Fox Graphics, is a little bit of a yikes. Considering last week in Martinsville they had 4 of the last 5 winners wrong. Fox tends to not be super accurate with their graphics. But we're going to go with it. They had the graphic showing all the cautions throughout the race. And, I mean, they've had double-digit cautions at Texas since 2021 at least. So, seeing that, I mean, Texas has become a high-attrition track. I mean, it's become one of the tracks that if you go out of it without a crashed up car, you're doing pretty good, which is wild to say. But it's just the way that Texas has sort of been repaved, resurfaced, restructured, whenever they did that years ago and absolutely ruined it. And then adding the traction compound, they completely ruined it and made only a few lanes work, which is really weird because the traction compound, PJ1, whatever the hell they put at that track, didn't do good for Texas. And there were some tracks that did brilliant. I think Bristol, it helped when they made the mistake of grinding down the top side and everybody had to run along the wall. Having that traction compound PJ1, whatever one they used at Bristol, that worked and that made that bottom groove viable along with the top. So Bristol, very versatile. New Hampshire, it helped with the first and third grooves in the corners. Everybody take that second line. Those are 2 tracks that I can think of it really helping at. But, for whatever reason, at Texas has just completely ruined the track. And I feel like it wasn't as bad this year. You've seen it in trucks, you've seen it in Xfinity, you've seen it in Cup. Drivers able to move up a little bit, but still, if you get up out of the groove at all, you're spinning, hitting the wall, or losing 15 spots. So many times you've seen drivers get loose, slide up a little bit, and they're going back. One that I remember seeing from the race was Bubba Wallace getting loose, and he moved up the track, so Ty Gibbs had to back out. Both of them just going back because they just went to the high groove. And you've seen that multiple times throughout the race. That's just one that stands out to me for obvious reasons. But, yeah, it's just one of those things that you see how ruined that track is. So, Texas became this track of just everybody crashing, because along with the fact that if you go out of that groove, you're either going to spin out or fall back and lose a bunch of momentum, it also became a track where there's a big bump, which everybody seems to spin on. I mean, you had Christopher Bell, you had Jimmy Johnson, Denny Hamlin, or Denny Hamlin's was a little interesting, we'll get into Denny Hamlin, but Denny Hamlin spun in that similar area. John Hunter Nemechek spun there, so a lot of drivers in turn 3 and 4 area spinning. You had Ryan Blaney and Ryan Preece. They had contact with each other. That sent Blaney into the wall. You had when Christopher Bell spun, that also caused John Hunter Nemechek and Alex Bowman to crash. Josh Berry spun in turn 2. I mean, you had drivers spinning everywhere. But the main thing that really changed the race, right? At the end of And again, stage 2, which is caution, 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 caution. You had so many cautions. Fox has their little graphic at the top to show you how the progress of the race is going, and it's just yellow, green, yellow, green, yellow, green. So a lot of stage 2 was caution. Fortunately, I was a little bit behind watching the race. I was able to fast forward through some of the ads and things like that. I was about an hour behind just from the fact that my parents weren't home, so I was going to watch without my mom watching it because she'd be like, "Oh, why didn't you wait?" And also the Warriors were on, so I had to make sure I watched that, see how they did against the Jazz, and see where they ended up in the play-in tournament this week. So a lot of interest in basketball. Be honest, should make some basketball videos, but I don't. But that's a big interest as well. So I was watching the Warriors. Parents weren't home, so it just kind of made sense to wait. So I was able to begin to fast forward through a lot of the cautions, which is brilliant because waiting that whole time would have been annoying. But again, important part, a lot of those cautions did take place, and at the end of, I think towards the end of stage 1, or right at the end of stage 1, you got a caution quickly, Kyle Larson pit, and he had his whole tire come off under caution, where he said he had a flat tire. They just came back from ads and they're like, "Oh, here's Kyle Larson's tire," and it just came off. It was so weird. It was one of those things that it was like it was loose, but he's able to run multiple laps and then just think, "Oh, the tire's going flat." So it was kind of strange. I mean, pit stop wise, Joe Gibbs Racing killed it. Ty Gibbs had the whole like lug nut adjusting thing from the gun, the socket. That's what it is. The socket came out and stuck to the nut on the tire. Martin Truex had issues with his pit crew. I think Christopher Bell might have as well. So 3 of the 4 Gibbs drivers had some issues there. Yeah, it was just one of those things that the drivers had issues on track and on the pits. So we get to the end of the race, and it's Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott. And Chase Elliott was on one today. And so were most of the Hendrick drivers, to be fair. Or 2 of them, at least. And, restart after one of the 50 million cautions. Chase Elliott gets the lead. Him and Denny Hamlin are racing. And I'm going to say it. I think Chase Elliott caused Denny Hamlin to crash. Just going to say it. Chase Elliott goes a little higher up in the corner. And, I mean, it's one of those things that I don't know if they made contact, but it's definitely a spot where Denny Hamlin was higher up the track just because that's sort of where he was forced. Going through the area with less grip and through the bumps and spun out, had some of the air taken off his car and hit the wall. It's unfortunate because Denny Hamlin, I think, was going to win that race. I think he was the best driver. But, Chase Elliott had to do what he had to do and try to win. But unfortunate because you can't really beat your opponent's head up with that. You got to take them out. Or at least put them in a spot where they're going to crash. And you know that. Next restart you have, or there's probably another caution. There was another caution after that. Then the final restart, you got him and Chastain going at it. Chase Elliott does a similar move, pushes Chastain up the track. He falls back a little bit. And then his teammate William Byron just yeets him into the wall. And, Chastain got taken out by Byron. And to the disappointment of all of us, it's another Chase Elliott win. It was nice going through the times without him winning. 2023 was brilliant for that standpoint. I mean, I'm not a fan of him, obviously. I think his, victory tribute to Alan Kulwicki, winning in the Hooters car, which nobody had won with Hooters as a sponsor since Alan Kulwicki in 1992. Very cool to see that. But, again, my thing with Chase Elliott is more how obnoxious his fans can be. Right? I think that Chase Elliott as a individual, as a person, I mean, I don't have a problem with Chase Elliott, right? In that standpoint. I think that his fans are obnoxious. So that kind of makes, seeing him win more annoying. But as a driver himself, I mean, I don't necessarily like have a problem with him as an individual. And I know a lot of people say he doesn't have personality, um, but it's one of those things that I feel in that standpoint. I kind of understand where he's coming from with what he does with the media and that personality, like that aspect, right? I get that, so I don't think that that's the right assessment to make. Um, I just think that he's in a spot where he doesn't really want to be the most popular driver, and you can see that. You know, with him saying he doesn't want to do Netflix show or watch it, or just the way he interacts with the media. Like, he's not interested in that. He just wants to go on a race. And I get that and I respect that, because I feel like if I was in a situation, I wouldn't be interested in being interviewed and doing media and all that stuff. You know, it's something that he wants to go out, do what he loves, and then go home. So I see that. And you see with other drivers, I mean, you have F1. Max Verstappen does a similar thing. I mean, he's not, oh, I want to be in the media and I want to be at 50 million events. The different drivers do, right? F1, I mean, Lewis Hamilton's the opposite. He wants to be out in the media doing everything, going to events, all that stuff. Max just wants to go home and chill. And, you know, NASCAR, you got a similar thing. Denny Hamlin, he loves being on stuff. Put Denny Hamlin on interviews, let him talk, let him say things. Chase Elliott's just like, I want to race and go home and chill. So I get that part of Chase Elliott. My issue is how obnoxious his fans can be. Um, it's kind of wild to just be insanely passionate about a driver um, because of their last name. That's wild to me, right? That's something I find very strange, that people are just like, I'm a Chase Elliott fan because of his dad, right? I think that's something that doesn't, I don't get it. If you want to be, you know, a fan of somebody, be a fan of them because of your understanding or appreciation of their driving style, or how they race, or them winning, or you've seen them win a race, or you liked them since you were, you know, a child, or something like that, right? I think just saying I'm a fan of somebody because of their last name and everybody else is kind of wild, because that's what you get. You get some people that are just like Chase Elliott fans. Maybe I don't get it. Maybe I don't. But to me, Chase Elliott fans can be quite obnoxious. So when you see him win, that's the part that's the most annoying. And you know, the constant obsession that you see with him from media and from NASCAR themselves. I mean, I remember last year they had an ad that NASCAR ran for him coming back from breaking his leg. Like, bruh. It's like, Chase Elliott's back. Bro, why do we need that as an ad? So it's that type of thing that to me is more annoying than Chase Elliott as a person. I mean, him and Kevin Harvick having their shoes in 2021 um, did add to that. But, I mean, I think there's multiple things that go into it. But I don't know. Just seeing Chase Elliott wins, unfortunate. I mean, I'd like to see Brad Keselowski win, or Ross Chastain, or Denny Hamlin. Any of them over Chase Elliott. So, you know, I expected Chase Elliott to win this year, though. I did make that prediction. But, I mean, that'd be lying because a part of me was hoping he didn't. So, there's that. But, yeah. Either way, Texas, I don't know. I think something's got to be done with the track. Still, again, it's going to be hard to say, let's change it, with the fact that what NASCAR wants is there to be 50 million crashes to create excitement. And with the Xfinity race having that close of a finish, I think it's going to be hard for SMI to just say, we're going to do a new track. We're going to change it. And for NASCAR to, you know, kind of agree with that. Because I'm sure that there's some discussions about their plans. And it's not just like SMI saying, this is what we're doing. They have those conversations, right? So, yeah. I mean, it's one of those things that I just don't see them saying, we're going to change it because it had that close of a finish and you had that type of crashing, which NASCAR is going for. So, it's unfortunate to see, but I think Texas will be back. Should it be made into a Walmart? Probably. Is it going to be made into a Walmart? No, it's going to be made into the same track as it was this year. But, make Texas a Walmart. Let's do it up.